from the 817. Y'all, I've been waiting on a Voch appearance for what feels like forever. Well, guess what, 817? You don't have to wait any longer, because on the line with us right now, you can find him on Twitter at Voch Lombardi, draft analyst, NFL analyst, YouTube extraordinaire, Cowboys content creator, Voch Lombardi joining us here on the Get Right Voch. What's going on?
What's good? Appreciate you for having me. I'm just getting used to the key word in vacation, which is vacate. I'm just trying not to do any work whatsoever, because once training camp starts, it is not going to be over until like next May or something, So I'm trying to enjoy my off days.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way that you should do that. But have you been surprised at how quiet it's been for the Cowboys this offseason? It feels like out of the norm.
Hey, man, let's just knock on wood that nobody got arrested or nobody got hurt playing basketball or nobody, doing nothing goofy. If you had to ask for my real pro answer, hey, this team is focused. We got our sights set on the right thing. We're just boxing people in gyms. We're not boxing people like out in public or nothing. You know what I mean? So this just means that, hey, maybe they just focused on getting better as opposed to, doing nonsense. So, hey, it's good that I haven't heard a thing.
When you look at what this team was able to do this offseason and now just less than 2 weeks away from training camp, have your feelings of confidence grown even more, or is there something that still concerns you based off of what this team did and maybe didn't do this offseason in your mind?
Let me tell you what I like about y'all, right? Because y'all know I'm a homer for real, okay? So what y'all do is you set me up to be a homer, but to bring my logic to the table, right? Like if you ask yourself, okay, well, did the running back situation get a little better? Well, sometimes less is more. Did your wide receiver situation get a little better? Okay, well, we're in a playoff game versus the number one defense in the league. Okay, CeeDee Lamb's doing his thing. The next option is December T.Y. Hilton humbling, Gallup, and then we got Noah Brown. Did we get better from that situation? Yeah, we got better from that situation. Hey, D-line, did we get better here? Sure. Carlos Watkins turned into a Mozzie Smith. We get a Jonathan Hankins from day one now, so he got camp things going on. Chauncey's going to keep getting bigger. He's going to turn into who he's going to be. Micah Parsons, he's working out with D-linemen. He's working out with O-linemen. He's working out with everybody. He's going to be 1 year better. He's a year 3 guy. But the one thing that we can continue to point to, right, is, boy, we got better at cornerback too. If there was one impediment to this defense towards the end of the season last year, it was cornerback too. Dan Quinn fixed run defense up the middle. He fixed run defense to the outside. He fixed reverses. He fixed quick game. If there was one thing we couldn't deal with, anytime we'll shut something down, it was just an impediment. Oh, we just going to throw the ball versus cornerback two. And normally what the Cowboys would do to fix cornerback two is they'll call Daryl Worley and Nolan Carroll. Look, no offense to Daryl Worley and Nolan Carroll. I'm sure they're fantastic, right? But it just feels much better to have a real top 5 corner by the metrics, not just by my thoughts and opinions, like by the numbers. Stephon Gilmore is a top 5 corner now, right? So you're just taking away all these things that you could possibly do to this Dan Quinn defense. The only thing that you got left is to pick on Deron Bland. He got 5 picks last year as a rookie, and I can only assume that he's going to get better. So, you can look and be like, well, Voch, you're a homer, you just can't say the Cowboys are going to be better. But, man, tell me where they didn't get better, and, there's the group of guys are going to be like, well, the quarterback, Voch, it don't matter. You can have this Pro Bowl, this top tier, everything else. Your quarterback is bad. Well, show me where my quarterback is, terrible. You know what I mean? He only looks bad versus the number one defense in the league. Everybody else, he just rips to shreds. Even the Eagles, the top 5 defense in the Eagles. It's just that number one defense in the league, the 49ers, that Dak can't beat with Noah Brown and T.Y. Hilton and Zeke and those characters and Dalton Schultz. Well, those problems got fixed. So let's see how our quarterback looks versus the number one guys, because number 2 through 32 in the league, Dak seems to have a pretty good hold on those guys.
All right, sounds like you're pretty comfortable with everything on the defense, but the one place where I don't want to say that I'm uncomfortable, but I've been thinking, right? I've been thinking about the linebacker core. How do you feel about it, particularly with Damone Clark being stepped up to, hey, man, you got to play every down now?
So how about this, though, right? I was just doing some research and watching some film, and if y'all follow me on my social media Twitter machine, I've been posting clips, and I've been doing a lot of thinking, right? I thought that, I was thinking, man, Van Der Esch is kind of injured guy, and Clark last year was injured guy, and besides that, the linebacker room doesn't look so thick. But think about this. We mostly run dime and nickel, so you only really need one or two of those guys. Then I started to think, right, if I told you that J-Ron Curse and Donovan Wilson were kind of like linebackers to you, would you kind of feel better about that? And you'll put your hand on your chin and you'll start to nod a little bit, right? I understand that Donovan is a safety, but let's ignore Donovan when he's playing free safety because he don't really fit there. But when Donovan walks down in the box, and go follow me on Twitter, I just posted a clip, so y'all can't call me fake on this one. When Donovan Wilson walks down in the box, like, he's leading the team in tackles, he's leading the team in run defense, perimeter run defense, and things like that. So yeah, Dan Quinn doesn't run this traditional defense, right? Where we got three linebackers that we looking at. We got a Sam, Mike, and a Will guy. He doesn't run that type of defense. We got two dudes just playing regular linebacker, and we got a box safety that look like a linebacker, and we got a nickel type situation that's bigger than all the other nickel type situations. We call him Big Nickel, and he does linebacker things sometimes, right? Plus, there's Micah Parsons just sitting around. Now, I have a theory that last year Micah played so much DN simply because Dorrance just couldn't hold down the run defense situation, right? So let's just say, for example, right, let's just say that Sam Williams, who is a better run defender, let's just say Sam Williams takes Dorrance's job. So now we have this full, both of my defensive ends are good at run defense because they only want to run to Lawrence's side, right? So say you got two good run-stopping DNs. Well, Micah Parsons can move around wherever he wants. Micah Parsons can be your extra linebacker dude. So, yeah, if Van Der Esch and Clark are your only linebackers, I'd feel upset too. But if your linebackers look like Van Der Esch and Clark and Micah and Donovan Wilson and J-Ron Curse, boy, that puts a smile on my face.
That's very interesting because with Sam Williams last year, second on the team in tackles, when tackles for loss last year, played really good in the limited snaps that he got. So imagining him on the outside opposite of DeMarcus Lawrence, even with Dorrance Armstrong there, is a very interesting proposition. It's just, I think it gets to Voch the idea that there are a lot of things that Dan Quinn can play with in terms of this defense and how he can really put pressure on offenses going into this upcoming season.
It's funny. I remember once upon a time in the draft, there was this cat named Isaiah Simmons, Clemson guy, right? And he was the first of the I play linebacker and safety type guy. And everybody was blown away that he was the linebacker, safety type guy, and that they overdrafted him and whatever. But they drafted him because he was such a different type of athlete. And now we fast forward just a couple years later, not even too long, right? Dan Quinn got like 6 of them dudes. Right, he got 6 dudes that can just move around and do anything on his defense. Overshown's the guy that we drafted this year that's just like that. So when I look at Dan Quinn, there's this thing that I always go back to. If the player is a good player, then they're a hybrid/versatile player. But if it's a bad player, we call them dudes tweeners, right? Dan Quinn ain't got tweeners on his team. Like, he got dudes that are legitimately good in many places. Now, once upon a time, no disrespect to Rod Marinelli, because I love what he did, but Rod Marinelli had a bunch of tweeners, right? He just had dudes that could do multiple things in multiple different spots, but we felt like he didn't have a plan for him. He was just a dude, hey, Tyrone Crawford, you can be in B-gap this game and be fine. Oh, but just all of a sudden next year, we just going to put you at DN and just hope that it works out there. That's not what the Cowboys now do. Like, if you look at Chauncey Golston, Chauncey Golston was a guy that he wasn't the biggest dude in the world. Like, he was a solid, bigger DN type character, but Dan Quinn waved his finger at him and said, you know what, I need you to put on some pounds and be like a 3-tech type of guy. And that's exactly what Chauncey did. And Chauncey got a little better. He started to improve. Guys like Oso Digizua, who was a 1-tech, 0-tech type of guy. He was getting triple teamed in college. He was 280 pounds. He said, Osa, I think I need to put you in B-gap right now. And now Osa's one of those surging 3-tech B-gap guys. Dan Quinn waves his finger at you, and you just show up with this job, and before you know it, you good at this job. I remember when we first got J-Ron Curse, I was like, well, look at J-Ron Curse. Special teams guy. You got to do something, Jeff. He's gone. You need a special teams guy. But Dan waved his finger, and now he's a dude that we're, like, counting on and we paid money to, and he's going to be around, right? If he's green dot guy, he's calling your defense. So as long as Dan's here, I got confidence, man. I like to trust my own football mind. You know, we're all fans, and we can look at Kellen Moore and be like, Kellen Moore, what you did was trash. But Kellen didn't earn credibility with us. Dan Quinn has earned enough credibility where he can start Carlos Watkins in the middle of the season. I go, you know what? I trust Dan Quinn. So I trust Dan Quinn.
You're listening to the excited voice and the exciting voice of Voch Lombardi of The Volume. Now, Voch, you got a lot of positivity here. Some might say you spinning it positive, but all right, how you going to do this with the running back when you're talking about, I guess, a offensive play caller that says he wants to run the damn ball, and you have a feature back of Tony Pollard, and where are we going? Ronald Jones? Are we going Deuce Vaughn? Like, how do you view this? Is it all positivity, or you got a little bit of question marks in there as well?
If Mike McCarthy comes out and tells you anything, it's the opposite of what that's going to be. Right? I don't trust him no more. I just don't have belief in Mike McCarthy no more. And you know, shouts out to our media members, shouts out to the B-Rise. I'm not saying that they lying. You can just tell us what they told you. You know what I mean? So I believe that we should be a run-heavy team, but I'm not going to believe McCarthy till I see it. We talking about a dude that we show up in training camp and we just ain't got numbers on the jersey. Like, why is this the thing? We know that CD Lamb. We know what his hair look like, but that's Mike McCarthy, right? So I got faith in the running game. I'll tell you why. Because we got 4 at quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, we have 4 at, and when you have a quarterback that can elevate guys, people seem to believe that can't elevate guys, but guys like Noah Brown and Cedric Wilson and Dalton Schultz would beg to differ with all this new money that they, you know, when Randall Cobb got his money, they beg to differ, right? So when you have a quarterback like Dak, everything else is just do his own thing, play his own role. Plus, when Tony has been the guy, like when there's a situation, whether it be, Zeke is in trouble, Zeke is holding out, Zeke pinky toe hurt, you know, whenever we called for Tony to be the main guy, Tony was the main guy, and Tony was fantastic. Plus, when Zeke was playing, while Tony was playing, every time Zeke would get the ball, much respect to Zeke, he'll be a Cowboy Ring of Honor type character one day. But boy, Zeke would scamper on 1st and 10 for that 1-yard gain. It'll make us sick. And we would scream at our TV because every time Tony touched the ball, something good happened. So why would just all of a sudden when Tony touched the ball, bad things will happen now? I'm just not going to believe that. If anything, we got a play caller now that'll go, hey, let's give Tony the ball. Let's throw Tony the ball. Let's line Tony up at receiver. Let's run a screen. So if anything, Tony's going to get a little better. And I think for the most part, Cowboy Nation is pretty positive on Tony. The only thing that they got is, well, Voch, what are we going to do with all them Zeke touchdowns? Well, them 1-yard runs, I don't know what we're going to do with 1-yard runs, those 1-yard touchdown runs. Hey, maybe behind, run behind Tyler Smith, run behind Zach Martin. Let Dak Prescott throw the ball. Let Dak Prescott quarterback sneak it. Give it to Deuce Vaughn. He's short. They can't find him. You got options, but let's just not create this thing. Well, Tony's been good ever since he's been here. And it ain't like he got a whole bunch of tread on it. I mean, well, he got plenty of tread on the tire. Pardon me. He got plenty of tread on that tire, man. Tony doesn't have a bunch of carries. Let Tony be Tony, and when it's time for him to get paid again, he'll be in Jacksonville somewhere, and we'll draft another dude. Tony will be fine.
From the 214, I need Voch to call me every morning and give me a pep talk to start my day. That's
Love you, bro. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, you know what?
Best, my guy.
Is that a side hustle for you, Voch? You going
motivational speaker?
Yeah.
Hell no, don't call me. I'm asleep, man. I'll call you. Hit me. Look, DM me on Twitter, and I will get to you when I get to you.
Voch, tell the folks where they can find you, what you got going on, man.
Hey, man, follow me on Voch Lombardi, VochLombardi on all platforms. Follow me on The Volume also. And catch me in Oxnard training camp. Catch me on Pad Week, so July 31st. I'll be out there. Appreciate y'all. Salute.